I'm going to talk today about transforming formulas, and what that simply means is switching around the variables so you're solving for a different thing than what it's originally set up for. So a formula is just a rule that shows a relationship between two or more quantities, and you can change it around so that you can solve for force in this case. It's a famous formula in physics. Force equals mass times acceleration. And you can solve it for acceleration by just dividing both sides by m, which is the mass, because now it's F divided by m is equal to acceleration. Or for mass, by just dividing force by acceleration is equal to mass. And when you're doing this, basically all you're trying to do is isolate the variable that you're looking to actually solve for. And it doesn't matter if you're dividing, multiplying, adding, or subtracting, or doing numerous other things like that. It's just you do the same rules you follow as when you go ahead and solve for an equation like we have many times before. So one important thing is to check the answers afterwards. And so when you check it, all you do is you plug in something here, like say, oh, if this is going to be 3 times 2 is equal to 6. If that's the case, then I should be able to do the same thing over here with this formula here. So 6 divided by 3, because that's the m, that's what I determined the m to be. And now that's going to be equal to 2, so that's right. And same here, the force is 6 divided by 2 is going to be equal to 3. So that makes sense, and that's a correctly transformed formula. So now, when I'm talking about transforming formulas, I'm not talking about these. Although I always have wondered here, in terms of the transformers, what the heck happened? Did Bumblebee get like last in line to decide what to actually transform into? Because really, this here is Bumblebee. He gets to be a car. This here is Starscream. He gets to be an F-15 Eagle and basically bomb lots of things and be able to fly all over the place faster than the speed of sound. He gets to be a car, really. And Bumblebee as a name, interesting, really scary. Anyhow, moving on. If we look here, it says here, solve each equation for a variable in blue. So the variable in blue here, this here is y is equal to x plus b. So all I'm going to do is, I'm just going to get rid of that plus b, and it's really easy. All I have to do is go ahead and go y minus b over on this side. So I'm subtracting that from both sides. X plus b. Now I'm going to minus b, and then that cancels out the plus b. So now I'm just left with y minus b is equal to x. That's it. Now this formula over here, you need to make one slight change here. This actually should read 9/5 Celsius, because this is the formula for transforming, or for figuring out Fahrenheit if you know the degrees in Celsius. So this is a little bit more complicated, but it's the same idea. All you're going to do is, first thing you're going to do is subtract 32 from both sides. Just like you would with any sort of equation like that. And so you're going to end up with, now I have F minus 32 is equal to 9/5 C. Make sure that's clear. That's a 5. And so now all I have to do is I have to get rid of that 9/5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So times 9/5, or times 5/9, which is the same as dividing by 9/5. Remember that. So times 5/9. But remember, I'm going to have to times 5/9 both the f and the minus 32. So I'm going to write this out as 5/9 times f minus 32 is equal to C. And again, checking over these answers, making sure to do that, because that is an important step here. If I plug in, if this is 3 for x plus 1 is equal to 4, that's a true statement. Is this going to be a true statement when I plug it in again? Over here, now I've got, over here I've got 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. So I have transformed that correctly. And here, same thing. I like to do it with an easy number here for if I have this formula right here, F is equal to 9/5 times C plus 32. If I plug in 0 for Celsius, then it's going to be F is going to be equal to what if it's 0 Celsius? Well, 9/5 times 0 is going to be 0 plus 32. So the Fahrenheit, and you should know this, when F is equal to 32, the degree Celsius is going to be 0. Because that's just the way it works. When it's 0 degrees out and it's cold, it's 32 degrees out in Fahrenheit. So now I plug that back into this transform formula. I end up with 32 minus 32 is equal to 0 times 5/9. That's still going to be equal to 0 because that whole thing, remember, in parentheses. So that makes sense as a transform formula.